symbolic day here in France, 100 days until the presidential election.
100 days to go. In fact, it's the big story in the French press. Everybody's talking about it. We're going to start by looking at Le Figaro, which says 100 days to go, 10 questions to understanding the presidential election. Now, there you see the 4 candidates that are leading in the polls. So Nicolas Sarkozy, who's actually not a candidate yet. He has still to announce whether or not he's going to run. François Hollande from the Socialist Party, François Bayrou from the Modem Centrist Party, and of course, Marine Le Pen from the extreme right, Front National. Now, inside Le Figaro, there are these 10 questions to gearing up for the election. Round 1 is on April 22nd. And as I mentioned, one of the questions is, when is Nicolas Sarkozy and is he going to announce that he's going to be a candidate? Now, he keeps pushing back, announcing this. The latest thing he said was he was going to announce this at the end of January or the beginning of February, but he could push it back until the deadline, which is in March. He has often said that he wants to be president as long as possible and therefore delay being a candidate.
Okay, he's certainly a fan of the grand announcement as well, so we'll have to wait and see. But Libération does have a scoop on his election programme, even if he hasn't officially said he's running yet.
That's right. Le mariage gay, Sarkozy tenté par le oui. So on gay marriage, Sarkozy is tempted by the yes. Now there you see Sarkozy tying the knot with someone who looks to be part of the village people. Now, according to Libération, according to their sources, Sarkozy is planning on legalizing gay marriage into his election program for 2012. Now, in France, homosexuals can enter into a civil partnership, in this sense, 1999. But marriage between gays is illegal, and recent attempts to legalize same-sex marriage have been shot down by Nicolas Sarkozy's government. Now, according to their editorial, they're trying to understand why the UMP and Sarkozy are making this change, which is a break from tradition, what they call the sacred tradition of heterosexual marriage. Now, Libération's first reaction is to see some sort of a political strategy for Nicolas Sarkozy. He's trying to attract the homosexual vote, even though Libération wonders whether the homosexual vote is actually a thing. Now, the Socialist Party has always been very clear that if elected, if they get into government, then they will legalize homosexual marriage. So it seems like maybe Sarkozy is stealing one of their ideas to attract their vote. But Libération points out that this could also alienate traditional right-wing voters. Now, Libération also hopes that maybe this is actually an indication that the right, which is one of the most conservative rights in Europe and France, is actually evolving, and that there's this new generation of elected officials who are more in touch with reality and see that society has changed. So the right is evolving.
Okay, an interesting analysis there of the 3 possible options. We'll keep an eye on how that pans out. But the business dailies, moving on, are also talking about this 100-day milestone until the election.
That's right. We're going to start by looking at Les Echos. It's in their editorial by Dominique Seux. He says that he's rather pessimistic, actually. He says that there's 100 days to go and still too many questions that are unanswered. He says there's no real debate. In fact, the two main candidates, Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande, haven't even put forward their program. The only candidate that has is Marine Le Pen. She presented her program yesterday. Now, Les Echos says that because of this, voters are disoriented, and they say 3 main questions should be answered: how to lower public deficit, how to increase purchasing power, and what the future of the European Union is. Now, they have an interesting poll that shows how French people are intending to vote in this election, and it says that this is turning into a 4-candidate race, as the 4 candidates that were on the cover of Le Figaro, which is interesting. And according to Les Echos, this is indicative that this is a time of crisis, and French people are going to use their vote utile, a useful vote. So they're going to vote for candidates they think are going to win instead of trying to make a statement.
Okay, and just finally, we can expect a lot of excitement in the coming days, and Libération's put together a bit of a glossary to try and help us through the next 100 days.
Absolutely. It's called an abécédaire, which I think is a cute word in French. It's a glossary to try to help voters in the next 14 weeks. For instance, they have A is for audiovisuel, broadcasting, because starting on March 30th, once the list of candidates is official, TV and radio stations have to give an equal broadcasting time to candidates. C is for Charlotte, which is this little cap that candidates, we're going to see them wearing when they go visit factories. And finally, D is for doigt, finger, which a lot of candidates are going to be tweeting. We can expect a lot of drama in the Twitter sphere.
And we will, of course, be following that very closely here on France 24 and in the press review as well. Thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's papers. Well, it's time now for a look at today's headlines again here on France 24. Officials in the US